Hi, my name's Anne-Marie and I've been asked by AO.com to review the Samsung Induction Hob with Virtual Flame technology. Now I should start off by saying that I do really like induction hobs anyway. I have 3 very small children and I like the fact that with an induction hob it only heats the circumference of the pot and they do tend to cool down a lot quicker, so obviously reducing the risk of burning little fingers. This hob is not any ordinary hob. It's quite fancy and quite different from what you're probably used to, certainly different from what I'm used to. So if you come a little closer, I'll show you what I mean. It has 2 settings. It has this normal burner on the right hand side, and that's your virtual flame burner. And on the left hand side here we have this rectangle, and that's your Flex Zone Plus. So I'm going to switch it on for you and it'll go doo-doo-doo. There we go. So that's it on at the minute. It will switch itself off after about 15 seconds, so I have to move rather swiftly here. Okay, so some cold water in this pot and I'm going to put it on my virtual flame burner, and if I switch it on, there we go, we can see our virtual flame there, and that has immediately turned itself on to the highest setting. That is how it will always switch itself on. So you have this little intuitive visual panel here where you can work out what temperature you want your water at. I'm going to keep it at 15 just so you can see how quickly the water will actually boil, how hot it gets. But I'm not sure about the 0 to 15. I don't really know what 15 means. I don't know the difference between 7 and say 13, but maybe once I've used it a bit more I'll understand the difference between the 2 settings. I also would say that probably if you have big large sausage fingers it might be difficult to just kind of slide up and down and get the precise number you want, but that's a very small point. On the other side then we have our Flex Zone Plus, okay, and this is where you can have 1 pot, 2 pots, 3 pots. You can have 3 small, very small pots, you know, bubbling away with your different veg on it, or you could have obviously 2 larger saucepans or a frying pan on the saucepan. But what I really like about it is the fact that you can also put on other induction utensils. So I can put on this pot, so I could effectively leave my oven free and just use my hob and make a stew and have it simmering away on the hob. And you might think, well, why would you leave your hob simmering away for 1.5 hours? And that's because this hob also has a timer, so I can switch on my timer, okay, and I can put it on for as long as I want. So say it's an hour, I can switch up the time to that and I can leave it bubbling away quite happily. It also has a little child lock on it, which is here. Okay, right, yep. What I would say is, I think I would almost rather that the child lock came on at the start and I switched it off rather than the other way around. It's probably better when you have small children who do like to pry, just to have that child lock on all the time, just so they can't be touching anything and potentially burning themselves. There's another feature, and it's a pause button, and I'm just going to press that now. It's right over on the right hand side here. Pause. Pause. Oh, it's because I've had the child lock on. There you go. See, there you go. So now I'll pause. At least we know the child lock works. And now it's gone down to number 2. So that's to a very, very low simmer. Apparently it's so that you can take phone calls. In my house it's probably to deal with the dog barking or to change a dirty nappy. But anyway, that's a really useful feature, just to automatically turn everything down to a very low simmer. So those are the kind of highlights of this hob. It means that you can cook many, many more meals. You can have a large rectangular tray, maybe with fish, and have it gently simmering away or poaching away on the hob, leaving your oven free to cook other vegetables or meats. So for me, I think probably the people who are most likely going to love this hob are people who have a large family, people who enjoy cooking a lot, people who come home every night and maybe make noodles in a pot. May not be so keen because they're not interested in using lots of different utensils or pots and pans. But if you do enjoy cooking and you like making loads of different fresh food, then this probably is the hob for you. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, just because I'm not entirely sure of this 0 to 15 setting yet. But give me 6 months and I might be completely in love with that setting too. And I also just want to point out that we had fantastic customer service with AO.com from start to finish. We ordered the hob and the next day we received a phone call to make sure we were happy, and we've had follow-up emails, and service has been wonderful from start to finish. So definitely 5 out of 5 for AO.com.